Hello and welcome to the second in our series looking at local government reorganisation, the decisions that have been made, the people they affect, what the next steps are, both of those areas where the decisions have been made, but also what we can expect in those areas that aren't part of the devolution priority programme and are still waiting on the decisions to be made there. I'm Sam Fars and I'm the LGR expert and partner manager here at Icotech Services. And today we are going to be talking all about Norfolk in the east of England. So here is the new Norfolk, and the government has selected a 3-unitary model. What's interesting with this one is this is what came out strongest, we are told, in the consultation in terms of this local support. And it was also probably the version that probably hits the government's priorities as well. So we're going to end up with 3 unitary authorities. We've got and they're aptly named as ever: West Norfolk Council, East Norfolk Council, and then Greater Norwich Council in the middle. And I spoke a little bit on some of the other videos about how I can see that kind of naming convention, the greater, and then the name of the city or the large town, probably being used elsewhere as well. So this replaces Norfolk County Council and the 7 districts. They rejected a mega unitary authority. I think we're going to see that across the country, to be honest, and also a east-west split that had also been proposed. So the rationale behind this decision, so on top of the fact that it came out top on the consultation, and that's got to be a big part, the government has seen that this really does balance that efficiencies, which obviously is a big part. We're going to go from 8 different organisations running Norfolk down to 3, so we're going to have a lot of efficiency savings that can be made, whilst also keeping that local accountability, and also once again that importance of sort of commuter lines, how people live and work, etc., which is why we've got that sort of Greater Norwich area as well. Unlike in some other areas, some of that historic naming has been retained at this stage. So we've kept Norwich, so we've got Greater Norwich. I therefore don't necessarily see there being any changes to the naming conventions here. Possibly West Norfolk wanting to go for Norfolk Coastal or something else, maybe from a point of view of making sure they continue to get the visitor numbers they do, and hitting those sorts of things. But ultimately, the naming conventions seem good here. At the moment, no obvious signs either of any legal challenges. However, we have got a full set of county council elections, which are happening in about 2.5 weeks from when I'm filming this video. And we are expecting there to probably be certainly a change in the makeup of that local authority, even if it isn't necessarily a change of leadership. But most polls are saying that it's probably going to change political makeup and probably have a new leader. And we know that some of the parties that are standing there are against this happening, and they have indicated they may decide to go down that judicial review route. So keep your eyes open for that. However, there is another side piece to this, and that is that the county council, who did propose that single unitary authority, have requested further assurances around funding and the transition funding that's been announced by the government. They are saying that the amount of money that has been set aside for Norfolk and for other local authorities is not enough, and this restructuring, which hasn't been asked for by local people, it wasn't part of the Labour Party manifesto either, shouldn't fall on local taxpayers, but it should be funded by central government or general taxation. It shouldn't be on the local taxpayer, the local council tax. And they feel those current pots aren't sufficient. And as in some of the other areas, some of those existing population structures that have been promoted over these boundaries, there may well be some local challenges around that with the 2P transfer as well. So just keep your eyes open for some challenges which may come down, and maybe a challenge around that the financial side of things as well. As we've talked about in some of the other videos, we are going to see local authorities split up. So we're going to see South Norfolk and Broadlands, which are currently essentially operating as one district council, even though there's the 2 separate parts of that. They will actually now be part of all 3 of the future Norfolk areas, and there are splits in there as well. So some parts are moving into different parts. There's going to be lots of splits, so that is going to create some difficulties, which is always going to be difficult. And I say, despite that, no threat of appeal at this stage, a number of the district councils and the local MP have expressed concerns, and we do know there are the concerns around the financial side of things as well. So what should these local authorities be doing right now? Well, depending on their next steps, we should now be looking at their LGR project plan, their risk plan, and we may see some challenge around that as well. And when there are other challenges and other things that are being brought into the mix, these are going to be really important, especially if they are going to ask for additional funding. That's going to have to be there in the project plan. It's going to have to be there in the risk plan to be highlighting that these are things that that could derail local government reorganisation, and also what the what will happen if it does go wrong, and that's got to be really clearly monitored in their LGR project plan, their risk plan. So those have got to be things which they are monitoring and have live access to. They can't be static documents sat in Excel or similar. So it's really key that the new local authorities and the 8 working together now to split down into 3 have got a really strong PMO offering and risk management offering, and the tools that go around that, so they can be used both across those existing areas, but then they can be merged back into those new local government areas as well. Again, it's going to be absolutely key. If you enjoyed watching this video today, please like and subscribe down the links below so that you can see the next videos as they come out and as we get talking about your area, or reach out to us here at Icotech Services and we'll be happy to talk to you about your risk management, about your corporate management, about your project management, or about anything else to do with LGR. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.